The question that begs for an answer is this: bandits and terrorists, are they more powerful than the government? And when I say the government, I'm talking about security agencies. Are they much stronger? And secondly, questions are being asked. Is GUMI powerful, stronger than the government? Why is it that GUMI has not been arrested, interrogated? For those who do not know who Sheikh GUMI is, he is said to be the go-between with these bandits. He's 63 years old, born 1st of October 1960. Nigeria got its independence. So this guy was born as at that particular time. He was a former military officer and he grew to the rank of captain in the Nigerian army. He is currently the Mufti and Mufassir at the Kaduna Central Mosque. Now, GUMI has been seen several times, he has been seen severally with this terrorist. He has been seen severally with this terrorist. Now, the occupation of GUMI is medicine. He was a medical doctor in the Nigerian army. Now, there is another man called Mamu. He wanted to escape out of Nigeria, I think sometimes 2022 or thereabout, from Nigeria down to Saudi Arabia, down to Egypt. Like, he wanted to move down to where people who understand the kind of religion that is into this extremist. He wanted to move in there. Now, Mamu was arrested 2022 in Egypt. He already escaped out of Nigeria, but he was arrested. Now, Mamu was the go-between, like a negotiator between those that blew up the train track, that transversed from Abuja to Kaduna. Now, according to the report back then, Mamu Meyetihala, if that's what we're going to call him, he took around $200,000. That was the agreement. It took $200,000. Now, about 2 days ago, the federal government released names of certain individuals who are said to be the financier of terrorist banditry, kidnapping, and all of that in Nigeria. Mamu's name is part of it. Now, you see how bad Tuko Mamu, his name is part of those that are persons, BDCs, named as terrorism financiers by the federal government. Question is this: why is it that all of these people have not been grilled enough for them to spill out names of others who are involved? Not just that alone. Recently, bandits abducted 287 pupils last week at a public school in Kuriga in Chikun local government area of Kaduna State, and they are asking for 1 billion naira ransom for the release of these children. Now, let us go back to GUMI. Before the federal government could finish dropping names of these financiers, GUMI jumped. He said the Nigerian security have no right. And what is this? He said security agencies have no right to declare anyone, I want you to take note of that, anyone a terror financier. GUMI said this. Now, there are people who have not even said they've not even said 5% of what GUMI said. They would have been attacked. I mean, the government will send in security agents to rubbish that person. If that person is lucky, he will be alive. He went on to say, arresting Mamu and others for terrorism is also a terrorist act. All of this from Sheikh GUMI. Is Sheikh GUMI a sacred cow? Or is it because he was once in the Nigerian army? Is that the reason why he has not been arrested and grilled? Or is it because Sheikh GUMI holds the key, like the grand patron, grand master of terrorism in the northern part of Nigeria? Now, let us go back to Mamu. Tuko Mamu. Mamu, according to the federal government, is the money launderer and also the, let's use the word, accountant of this terrorist or group of terrorists. He's the one that gets money across to them from donation coming from abroad, from those bigger terrorist cell or group outside of Nigeria. You know, they always get sponsors from outside, not even Nigerians, Arabs, and extremists in general. Is the one that helps to get money in and out. Now, let us go back to GUMI. Now, apart from GUMI speaking on behalf of Mamu and others, GUMI went into the forest, into the bush, into the hideout of these terrorists. He took pictures with them. He did videos with them. And Nigerians got upset. They said, why can't all of these people be wiped out? GUMI laughed. He said, are you guys serious? Like, are you really serious? He said, this that you are seeing is much larger than that. And what is he trying to say? He said the security agents that are pretending are also his own guard, meaning they went with him to that same vicinity where these bandits, terrorists, kidnappers are based. He went further to say security agents know where these bandits and terrorists are. So people should stop acting like he is the only one that knows where they are. Now, GUMI is making a case for these bandits. He is saying that these bandits are not different from Niger Delta militants, such as Asari Dokuba and the rest of them. He said it is the same thing. He said it's the same thing. He said their own approach to what they are doing is what they are doing. And if the federal government did not and will not ever stop amnesty to these Niger Deltans, so why shouldn't the federal government give amnesty to these criminals? Now, amnesty has been discussed and given to some of these terrorists. They said repentant terrorists. Some of them were drafted into the army. Some were asked to, get themselves involved in whatever craft and all of that. Of course, I know and I understand that if you are in a particular region and you don't even want to be part of that, you will be forced to be part of it. They will draft you by force to be part of this evil act. Let us be clear about that. Whenever we are talking about what's happening in the northern part of Nigeria, we should understand that you do not choose where to be born. Somebody say, why can't they change? It's more or less say you should change your environment and move somewhere else. Yes, some did. You see some of them in Lagos, in the southwest, running their little business. Those are the ones that escaped from being drafted into this kidnapping, banditry and terrorism act. Now, I want you to also understand that there are those who take pleasure in doing what they are doing. How can you grant amnesty to those that are demanding 1 billion naira? What kind of amnesty can you give? So it means that the federal government is simply encouraging people to take up arms, to go and terrorize other people, because they know that at the end of the day, the federal government will grant them amnesty for wickedness. Now, how does that shape our society? It means that people will not take pleasure or interest in labor. They will not take pleasure in being the right or proper person in our society. If you are properly aligned in our society, the federal government cares less about you. But once you make trouble for the federal government, once you make trouble for other peaceful people in your region, the federal government will be aware of you and they will take care of you. That's simple as ABC. Now, let us conclude with this GUMI. GUMI has turned himself into a thing god. He speaks and talks anyhow he likes. He believes that he has backup and there is nothing anyone can do to him. Why is it that the government of TINUBU has refused to arrest GUMI? So GUMI can spill out all that he knows.